With the recent versions of Laravel, we have had changes from what kind of authentication we're using versus what we're not, what comes default. And it seems as though they've streamlined everything into being either use the default authentication or choose another option. What Laravel has done is Laravel has now hooked up with WorkOS and made it so that it's really easy to install. And I wasn't really sure how I was going to like this authentication, and I wasn't sure how it worked or whatever. I watched a bunch of videos and people were just pretty much upset that there was some sort of charge, that there were prices associated with it, when Laravel has typically used open source projects that were not paid. And that's true, but they have also had other things that have cost money, such as Laravel Forge or, different products like that. So I'm not really shocked about this, but I was curious to see what this authentication system actually was and how it works and, what's the point basically. And I feel like I finally figured it out. WorkOS, the Authkit, is basically a combination of both password and email authentication, in addition to two-factor, in addition to social logins. It basically just puts all of that in one interface where the links basically go to where WorkOS is hosting them, and you can work interactively from there, which is fascinating because Socialite has always been the thing that Laravel has had, and it seems as though this works out of the box without really too much configuration, and any configuration you do, you could do it right from here. So if we go to the pricing tab over here, the Authkit, which is free, and the Authkit is free up to 1 million users. And I thought this was a joke, to be honest, but what I did was I found the YouTube channel for WorkOS, and basically when they say up to 1 million users, they're considering that sort of like a challenge. Like if you actually get to 1 million subscribers, then there is a pricing fee, because realistically, whatever you're doing, it's rare that you are going to reach 1 million users, and that does make a lot of sense. But if you look at the pricing details, it's free up to 1 million, right? And then any additional 1 million users, then it's $2,500 a month. So, I mean, this doesn't bother me as much as it did anymore, but it does do a lot. Let's go to the products tab up here, and then we'll go to Authkit and we'll see what it is basically. World's best login box powered by WorkOS and Radix. And it has email. You can use your Google account to sign in, Microsoft account. It has a lot of them. You can either do GitHub. You can do a lot. And the only one that I found really that it didn't have, which most people would probably want, would be Facebook. But it looks like there's no integration for Facebook. They may be able to get it. They may not. Who knows? It does cover a lot in any event. And it's really kind of cool because you can change up the look of it, but this is essentially what it'll look like. And then you'll have different boxes here to set this up. The thing is, you do need to have an account to set this up. We are going to walk through the entire setup so that we can see how it works, so that I can show you just how easy it is, and anything that I run into, you might run into as well, and we'll just figure it out from there. If we go to the Laravel documentation, we'll start from where we are starting from, which is Laravel. And we are going to the starter kits tab right here. And if you come down to the WorkOS Authkit authentication, it's basically explaining how you can use it with pretty much any setup of Laravel that you're doing, whether it's React View or Livewire. Be able to integrate it through there, as well as configuring the client ID, the API key, and the redirect URL, which this is all going to come for us when we set up the project. We'll get back into this later, but I'll leave it here for now so that we can go set up the project and then come back here and make sure that we have everything. Now in Laravel, because I have it installed globally, I'm just going to do Laravel new, and then I'll call this testing WorkOS. That'll be what it's called. We'll do a starter kit. Let's just choose, for now, we'll just choose view. Doesn't really matter. And this is where it'll ask you whether you want to choose the built-in authentication or the WorkOS provider. And so we'll click that. PHP unit, doesn't really matter which one you use. We're not going to be using that anyway. We just want to set up a project so that we can integrate WorkOS with it. Now it's asking us, would you like to run npm install? Yes. We'll cd into the testing WorkOS project. I'm going to be using tmux, so I'll start that there. Open up the project here, and let's see where we are. Everything, as you can see, basically looks the same. We are going to go to the .env, which is going to be where we house all of our stuff for this. I'm going to change this to MySQL just because I prefer MySQL. And here is the password. I believe that's what we called it. Let's go down a bit till we get to the bottom here, where as you can see, the WorkOS information has been stored for us and it's pretty much ready for us to go. We just need to include our client ID and our API key, which we'll be getting from the WorkOS website. So let me save this and let me also run the migration so that we have our migration working and we'll be able to go and do that. Maybe it's not password. Let's see. Okay, so let's go to the WorkOS documentation and create an account, and then we'll come back here and add our, let's see, where were we? We were in here. We'll come down and add our credentials to this .env file. Now from here, I'm just going to go up to the top. We'll go to get started, and then we'll create the WorkOS account here. If you already have an account, you can use that. So it'll be nicosdummy6@gmail.com. Continue. And I will go ahead and close these. And I'm using this dummy account that has the GitHub account associated with that so that we can try that and then create a password. Now you can do either of two things. You can either create a password or you can continue with an email code. And what'll happen is once you click this, it'll send an email to your email account with an email code. So I'm just going to create a dummy password here just for simplicity for now. Press continue, and it does not meet the requirements, 10 or more characters. Okay. Now let's go ahead and continue with the email code. Try that. Perfect. Enter the code sent to nicosdummy6@gmail.com. So let's open up the Gmail account and grab that. Okay, so as you can see, verify your email address. Let's go ahead and grab that. I'm going to copy that, paste it in. Okay, perfect. Tell us a bit more about you. First name, designated coder, designated code breakers. That's a team name that may be displayed to your customers. We'll go ahead and continue and invite your teammates. I have no teammates just yet, so we'll skip this step. Part of this also feels like Jetstream's Teams features too, but incorporates, like I said, it incorporates a lot of stuff. You can set up a shared Slack channel, single sign-on. There's a whole lot of stuff that you can do here, but these are the environment variables that we're going to need for our Laravel. I'm going to go ahead, copy this one. In the env file, I'm going to paste that. Grab the next one, paste that, save, and go back. Now we've already got it installed, so we don't have to worry about that. And then you can finish the quick start guide. And that's pretty much all we're going to need from there. So what I want to do is well, before we do that, if you take a look, you have a bunch of different tabs over here where you can go to organizations. You can see that we have no users. We have to set up user management. You can do the authentication and enable all of those different things. We haven't done any of this yet, but most of it is pretty much configured for you right out of the box. So you do have a lot of stuff in there. The other important thing is you have your API keys. You can grab it from here. You can always go back and get it. And then here's where we would set up our application. So let's start first by setting up the user management. And these are the things that are available to us right now, which is single sign-on, email password, Google OAuth, Microsoft OAuth, GitHub OAuth, sign in with Apple, Magic OAuth, and multi-factor authentication, which is using a key or something to that effect. I'm going to click all these just so we can see them. Next, choose how you want to build your front end. Use Authkit for the customized pre-built. That's fine because we don't want to reinvent the wheel here, but you can change up the colors. You can do the logo, whichever logos you want. This is what it's going to look like. This is the button. As I said, you can change all of this. I'm going to skip this. Try your sign-in page. That's what it's going to look like with everything that we have set up so far. We can skip that, leave it as the default. We'll add an endpoint. We'll add that in a minute, but for right now, we'll just skip this step and add a default redirect endpoint URI. We're going to skip this for now. We're going to come back and do all of that. So let's go ahead and activate everything. And now you can see our user management. We have 0 users. We have single sign-on, audit logs, directory sync, basically everything that we're going to need for this. In Laravel, we have everything set up. Now we need to set this WorkOS redirect URL somewhere. Let's go ahead. I'm going to grab this, copy that. And then the first thing that I want to do is go to set up our app. So we'll go to application. We'll create an application. It'll be an OAuth application. We'll say next. It'll be managed by you. It could also be managed by an organization. And we'll just say WorkOS testing WorkOS. Create an application. Testing WorkOS. This is the app ID. Client ID is already put in there. Then we have the client credentials. We have to do that in a minute, but let's add a redirect. Here is where users are redirected after they sign in. Before we do that, I want to set up in here the redirect. So this is where we're going to handle the defaults for that. Link to your app page and the Authkit pages and in the emails that the users receive. The sign-in callback, the app for our homepage, our login endpoint, and our logout redirect. Also the sign up page, that's where it is, and the user invitation, password reset. All of these things are pretty much configured for us already. But in here, I want to do, in here, we'll need to generate a new secret, and this is our client secret. I'm going to copy this and put this somewhere safe, and then I'll close that. And let's continue on the sign-in callbacks, add redirect URI as the default. Here I'm going to put HTTP. Here I am going to grab this and I'm going to paste that in as the redirect. We're going to add that and that will be our redirect. We are going to give this a try and see how it works. If it works, we'll find out, but let's open up localhost. Let's make sure to run this. Let's try to log in. We'll see what potential errors we could have, and it's an invalid redirect URI. Make sure that the app uses the correct redirect URI. If you are not sure what this means, please contact your organization admin. Let's do that here. We'll edit the redirect. And how about we do this? How about we'll grab this. And once the user is logged in, well, normally we just direct them to the dashboard. Let's add that. Let's get rid of this one. Default. Get rid of this one. Confirm, delete, close. Let's try it again. You have to go back, refresh, log in. Again, it's saying the same thing. So what's going on here? Well, let's go to our redirects. We'll add the redirect after completing authentication steps. Let's do this. And this is our edit app home. Let's do this one here. And that's it. I'm going to copy this. Save that. The login endpoint, initiate login URL. Log out, where they're redirected after they log out. Home. Sign up pages here. Invitation we don't have to worry about. And none of these we really have to worry about. So let's try this again. Why don't we do this? Let's change this to also be localhost. And then this one we'll remove. And let's try it again. We're still getting that. But I'm also forgetting that in our WorkOS, the sign-in callback is actually going to be the, let's see, testing. This is here. this is here. Let's change this one to localhost. We'll make that the default. We'll get rid of this one. So now that's going to be where it redirects to. But if we go to redirects, then we also have a route for this. In our project, we have this. So now let's try this again. There we go. As you can see, we've been redirected back to the WorkOS. So now our redirects should be okay. Well, now that we have this, we have multiple ways of logging in. And this is, again, just the login page, but there's also a sign up page where you can use your name, your email, and then you have your Google account, your Microsoft, GitHub, or Apple. But what I want to do is I want to go back to authentication. We have email. We can change the strength or the weaknesses of it, but Laravel has suggested that you disable email and password authentication. Now you can if you want to. I like to have as many different ways to authenticate as possible, including email and password. Use that at your own discretion. You can also use passkeys. You can have magic auth enabled, passkeys enabled. You can go ahead and enable that too. And then you can prompt them to also have a passkey. OAuth providers, we have Google, Microsoft, GitHub enabled. You can also enable GitLab, LinkedIn, Slack, Xero, available on request, ADP. You can use Bitbucket, Intuit, Rippling. And so these are the ones that they have, and these are available on request. And, you know, possibly they will add more along the way, like I said before, because Facebook isn't on here. And I know that is a popular social login. X isn't on here either. I didn't see that. And you can also enable multi-factor authentication. You can make it required, or you can do it based on an organization's membership. A lot of this is just also if you are a standard user, or if you want to set up organizations, then this automatically created a test organization for us with a test provider and so forth and so on. So our authentication is pretty good. It's already set up. And so that's where we are. So we'll go ahead, we'll sign up. Now, as I said, I want to use my GitHub. I'm going to use some information here, and then I'll use my email. Create a password, or we can continue with the email code. Let's try that instead. I'm going to use that code that they sent us. Now, as you can see, we're logged in. And if you go to settings, this is the email. Everything is the exact same as it's supposed to be, just a regular authentication. What if I log out? And let's say I want to log in from GitHub. I'll click GitHub, and I can log in as this one. But we have to authorize it, which we haven't done. So we have another code. Copy. We have the same name. We are logged in, and it's used our GitHub account. Now, if we go to GitHub, we see there's nothing in this account. But if we go to settings and go to applications, authorized OAuth apps, you can see WorkOS demo. This was created from that account. Access user email address read only. And so we didn't even have to do anything to set this up. We can also revoke access or whatever we want. But this has been a new permission that's created using our GitHub because we were already logged into it, and it's good to go. We take a look in our database now. You see we have one user with the email. This is the WorkOS ID because that's included with the installation. We have an avatar. We have created at, updated at, and that's all good to go. So we have a user who's using the same authentication, whether it's GitHub, whether however we set it up, it's automatically done for us. And I think that's a pretty powerful thing that this package is doing. I don't know if you guys are going to use it. It seems overkill for basic demos, but I think for a more robust system, it's actually pretty good. Let me know what you think about it, if you're going to use it, if you're going to try to implement it in your own projects, and if you've explored other parts of this as well. I would like to know how that went. The developers of this seem to be pretty open. I think it's worth looking into, but let me know how you guys feel about it. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and click that like button, as it really does help out the channel. Here's a video YouTube thinks you're going to like, and here's a playlist to follow along. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.